Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Code for episode 103 of On the Backs of Gods. Today, we currently have our players Kyle, Mac, Greg, and Katie. Today, I'm Roshan, and for the time being, I am also Gorbjorn. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
And with all those other titles, I am also your DM, Jillian. And I think I'll go ahead and jump into a little recap and we can get moving. Um, Last session, you all had, and by all, I mean everyone, had been dealing with their own terrible combat situations. The OG party dealing with an amalgamation of rotten fish and dirt and twigs and leaves that had turned into like a huge abomination of a monster left to rot in the earth for, I think, about a week. Was the last time the party laid eyes on it before heading on their own way, but inevitably did deal with their problem once it came kicking indoors in town, in a very difficult combat, but resulting in collateral damage and lives lost. The two new members of the party also were in a combat against one of these monstrosities, and you later learned that they had dealt with two of these original pits, that this was the third of these beings that they had dealt with, and that they also had dealt with Tate, who was, I guess I'll call them captains, generals, people that seem to have some status working for the guard. This is when all of you are brought together, is during cleanup, where bodies need be disposed of and fires need be put out, because just literally you gently tap something, it bursts into flames. That's just how it worked. But during this time, Alyona, who very happy to set things ablaze, and also very happy to ask to speak to the manager of every Jarlsman in town, eventually informs Roshan that because he saved her with, in her opinion, not much thought, he gets something he wants. But she's not going to give it to him today, because you need to think about it, because that'd be silly. But at some point, one day, whatever you want. And then she goes to possibly get a portrait of herself made as her first time battling on this soil. The party combines together and makes their way around town, buying armor and weapons and potions, because their armor done what did melted. About 3 people just armor fucked. And you get some potions along the way. Nana also hints that they could have dealt with this problem sooner, but does not elaborate. And it seems nobody else in the party wishes to elaborate. But that's okay and valid. You all make your way back to the Laughing Ocean, where Tordrecht has been soundly sleeping, and you run back into Ink, who is currently up and awake, seems to be doing better, had finished Gorbjorn's paperwork to make him a honorary royal, make him a actual prince with lineage and paperwork and documents stating as such. And Roshan heads upstairs after talking with Ink and Gorbjorn, and informs the party that it seems Gorbjorn will more than likely want to travel with Ink to keep Ink safe and to also keep Tordrecht safe, who is currently kind of one of the objects that must travel with the museum, as he is currently, because of one of the relics, in a religious coma. Normal and casual thing. And after this announcement, nobody really speaks further of it. It's like, oh, okay. And then the silence is deafening as everyone gets a drink and goes about their nights. And at the end of the episode, Keld, having a solid 2 hours with these people, it is like the book had been set in front of you and opened up, and there is a chapter on each person in this party, and you can see it displayed clearly in front of you, and you believe that you're in the right place. And that's where we left off, is with the party upstairs drinking, for fun, for feelings, for I like the taste, I guess. You can see Roshan is quickly finishing their drink and is about to just go back to their room. Gorbjorn's still downstairs with Ink. That's where
Fen has not said a word to the party since Gorbjorn stated his. Can somebody mute themselves?
I don't hear anything weird.
I was kind of echoing a little bit. I don't know if somebody's got their audio on the. Okay, that's fine. Fen has not said a word to the party. You don't hear the echoes?
I just heard it.
Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so Fen has not said a word to the party. The only person he's talked to is the bartender since Gorbjorn stated his intentions to take Tordrick and travel with Ink. So Fen has just been going back and forth to the bar, bringing drinks every time. So he's half in his cups at this point. And he's going to go to the bartender. Do you sell whiskey?
He probably got something similar.
I'll take a bottle of it, please.
All right. This person turns around and like kind of scans the bar and then like pushes aside a couple bottles and like pulls, and there's like a little bit of dust that comes out. Once again, this place is, unlike the other tavern you were at, is not bumping. There's hardly anyone here currently. It is very empty. And that's a bit strange for the time of night, even after, a tragedy, maybe even weirder after a tragedy. Honestly, for the amount of drink you've been grabbing anyways, Fen, I think you need to throw like 2 gold at me.
All right. Fen will give 3 gold, take his bottle of whiskey, walks back to the table, grabs his quiver and his bow, and makes his way out the door without saying a word. He's going to make his way down to the courtyard where Bosch's tree fell over.
Be careful, Fen.
And your shitty friend lay out at night. We'll get back to you in a moment. Let's see what's happening on home turf. Anything from the remaining people? You see Roshan like, well, that actually broke the ice. That's great. He's like up and heading back to the room. Wasn't me first, bitch. And is up and going. I'm gonna lay down. It's been a long day.
It has been. Take care of yourself, Roshan. Get some rest.
Sleep well.
He turns and he goes. Exits. 2 so far have exited stage right. 3 remain.
Well, if there's anything you two wanted to know, I'm not quite drunk enough to just say anything, but I'm far enough along.
I mean, I don't think we need to rush everything in one night.
No, certainly not, but if there's anything pressing, burning under the collar or whatever.
Oh.
I think we've heard quite enough stories today.
Well then, if you don't mind my asking, what about the 2 of you? I'd like to know some more about both of you, especially if we're going to travel perhaps for a little while.
Naturally, it's fair.
Well, what brought the two of you together? What got you started adventuring? You said you'd been working together about a year?
Traveling for a year, but
Oh,
I guess technically we've been working together.
like working together, what, 20 something years? If you want to call it
Wow.
work, being family
Yeah.
working, but I
Sometimes.
don't really call that working.
all right. I hope I'm not being untoward. I do rather want to know, was the mother more like you, Keld, or more like you, Nix?
Well,
Uh,
my mother definitely looks a lot like me.
our parents both look like him, if that's what you're asking.
Right. Well, I mean, one can never quite tell or safely assume these days.
Technically,
Certainly-
this is found family.
I can
Yeah.
relate to that.
Oh,
I would consider most of the people in this party that I've been traveling with akin to family. Especially Roshan, especially Gorbjorn, especially Fen.
Did any of them, when they found you, put you in a pot directly after, though? It's quite the experience.
A pot.
Pot.
No, I don't recall any shenanigans like that, although Roshan and Fen have plenty of pranks on me I'm sure they'd be delighted to tell you about someday. What's this about a pot?
well. It's more of a tradition in our family. It might not be so widespread, but
Yeah.
It's certainly news to me, although in fairness, I'm not very well versed in the traditions of the East. What signifies the pot?
well, it signifies our community in a way.
Really? And one rides in the pot?
No,
Is...
no,
No?
no. You just.
We
I mean,
create pot
I
pudding.
was only entirely in the pot because I was only 6 at the time, so I kind of fit entirely in it. I didn't really
That makes sense.
understand.
I was imagining a much larger pot.
It is still pretty
It
large.
is a big pot.
It's quite.
Well, to fit a 6-year-old, certainly. How interesting. So, how is it that you came to join Keld's family, Nix?
I mean, it's been a while, but they found me by a river and kind of just took me home. And was
Well, we couldn't just leave you there.
I know.
Oh, that reminds me of how Ave met Gorbjorn. Oh, goodness. My older brother, he was the chief of our village, and for a while, when I was very young, there was this sort of rash of panic through the guard. There were wolves howling off in the woods not very far from the village, and there was some concern that perhaps they were becoming territorial, trying to move into our hunting ground, such and such. So Ave led a team out to investigate, and what he found was a half-orc. Oh gods, was he a teenager? Just a teenager, I think, at the time. And a teenage half-orc running around stark naked with a pack of wolves, howling like mad. But they were perfectly friendly, the whole lot. None of them.
Well, that's good.
They were protective of their space, of their den, but there was no sign that they wanted to fight with Ave or with the guards. So Ave de-escalated the situation and took some time to get to know Gorbjorn. Never quite convinced Gorbjorn to come in to the village and live with us, but Gorbjorn stayed in a a house of his own making, not very far away from our village, and became very much a staple in our town and in our family. Visited
Wow.
every day, got to know us very well.
Huh. I mean, you never know where you're gonna find family. Can be the strangest.
Very true. Sometimes it's by a river, sometimes it's in a den full of wolves.
Huh. I was going to ask if this was family for you or your party.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of all very much muddled together by now. I don't know. It's. I think of this party as my family. I want to protect them like they were my family. I care about them. I want them to be
Can see
well and
that.
happy. Anyway, so what brought about this change a year ago if you'd been living happily and quietly for 20 some odd years?
A year
Well-
ago, it was just kind of to get out and travel,
Yeah.
see what's
Kinda
going on.
like,
I mean, love home. Home's wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
but you know,
You know, you've got to get out and see the world from time to time.
yeah.
Or at
That's
least
true.
that's how I felt.
Makes sense. Makes sense. How do you keep up with your parents at all?
As much as we can.
Yeah, I check in on them every now and then.
Letters home, or have you some magic that makes it a little more convenient?
Mm,
I send letters. I can't really communicate with them when I check in with them the other way. I'm gonna see them,
Mm.
but know that they're doing okay. That's all that matters.
That's very reassuring. It's good to be able to know that your family back home is well and safe.
Definitely. Do you have anyone left at home?
I do.
Galunda, was it?
Yes, Galunda. Yeah, it was. There's my mother still, and my sister-in-law and my little nephew. That's really it for my immediate family.
I see. Well, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a long time since I've been back home, and I'm missing them something awful. I've been sending letters, but we've been traveling so much. I'm sure any letters they tried to send back certainly haven't been able to keep up. So,
Yes, that could be tricky.
mm,
Oh,
Well, it's harder when I don't know a person, but if you have something of theirs or like a picture, something, I can try to let you see them at least.
really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
might give you some peace of mind.
Certainly would, I have to say. Things have been so... things have been changing very, very quickly, at home and abroad both, and I'd like to think that things are safer there now than they were last year, for example, but it's nice to be able to see and to know. Goodness, I'm not sure if I really have anything of theirs with me, but I'll have a look through my things and I'll let you know. Thank you.
Of course. Happy to help.
You did strike me as that sort of folk. I can't explain it. I don't... My brother was always very canny when it came to people, and I did not get those same blessings from my parents, so it's never really a sure thing, but when we met, I had a fairly strong feeling that you were both very much the helping sort. I mean, of course, the plentiful evidence of your very fraught battle certainly seemed about on par with ours. Seemed as though you were willing to get involved even when things were tricky, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're just trying to do what we can.
I'm just glad we didn't have to fight a third one.
Yeah.
Things might have ended differently.
Yeah, that would have been a bit too much. And chances are good we're going to be facing off against more things, or at least more of these pits, the further we travel. We don't know exactly how many there are, but I'd like to think there's something that we could do to head this off from happening again should we come across another one of those things on our journeys. Have you
Yes.
all managed to find a decisive way to make that a non-threat?
Well, from what I've gathered, a lot comes down to timing.
How so?
Because it takes, how long did it take? It takes time for them to grow and become those things we had to deal with.
Right. The last pit that we came across was about a week ago, not very far outside of town, and
And
we
that's
didn't
about-
have any way of knowing that this was going to be the result, but I mean, we've been working with the corruption long enough, we really should have known better. But we weren't sure.
Sometimes you gotta follow your gut there.
Yeah. Of course, the thing was also surrounded by an entire encampment of Bosch's cultists, and we were hard pressed to get to town. We had a friend that we had to make a promise good for. So
Oh.
Mm.
Were you able to make that promise?
yes, we were, and
Good.
that eased my mind somewhat. But then one thing led to another. We weren't able to get back out to that pit in all this last week, and now you see what happened.
Yep.
I don't want to be caught on the back foot by something like this again.
Mm.
I really don't.
Hey, Nana, how about you go ahead and roll deception for me? And also insight.
Okay.
This is the self side, boys.
What?
All right. My deception is shitty because I rolled shitty and I don't deceive well. It's a 9, and my insight is a 17.
Okay. You hear yourself explaining the situation. And parts of it don't sit right. Some of the, I'll just use the word excuses, don't sit right in some places. Danelle offered to take care of Ink. It was her job. There are reasons that you decided not to deal with this. But you're unsure if you're fully processing them, if you're really seeing them. So there is a moment, you've said it, now it's like kind of
Kind of left a bad
retrospective, like,
taste in the back of my throat, but it's like,
yeah,
well, I already said it, so.
yeah. Like you give reason after reason and just, it almost felt like trying to convince yourself over them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nana takes a long drink.
There's some just, oh, well. And Nana, it's getting a bit late if you were going to do anything else not in the tavern centric.
Right. Oh, goodness, is that the hour? I wanted to check in on our horse before I turned in for the night. There was so much going on in the town. I'd like to at least make sure that he hasn't worried himself into a state.
Oh,
yes.
Don't let us keep you.
We won't hold you from that.
We need to get rooms, I guess, anyway. Doesn't look like it'll be too hard if
Yeah.
there's a place connected to this, right?
Yes. The inn actually is the building that's right next door to the tavern. That's how they have it set up. We've got our rooms. Nana will describe where our rooms are, and if you're strapped for gold, technically there is one room where one of our party members is. Well, it's a long story, but he's unconscious and will not wake up until he does. And we could do him harm if we try to wake him before that. If nothing else, he'll be a quiet roommate if you should need a room and don't have the gold yourselves.
No worries.
I think we could get
we won't
rooms.
disturb your friend.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you out, but thank you both for speaking with me, and
Happy to.
get some good rest.
Thank you. You should too.
Eventually.
It's been a long day.
It has. I think I'll feel better after I've made sure that the horse is all right. Good night.
Good night.
And Nana will raise her glass, finish it off, and make her way out to the stable.
Okay. Let's focus on the external, and then we'll come back to the internal. We'll make our way far off, and then we'll make our way slowly back, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So Fen, slightly intoxicated and with more means to be further intoxicated, you have made your way out into the night towards the town square. What are you doing?
So Bosch's tree is still laying there on its side, roots up in the air. Fen's going to stand 20 paces or so away from the roots of Bosch's tree, and he is just going to start laying arrows into this thing. Just shooting at the root ball, taking target practice, big, long overdraw. He is just trying to let out some stress, and he is just going to empty his quiver into this tree. Every time he takes a shot he's not happy with, he's going to take a pull off of that bottle of whiskey, and he's going to go walk back up, collect his arrows, and do it again until somebody makes him stop.
Okay. Mark all of your arrows off of your character sheet for me. As you basically are forced to stop by the fact that you inevitably will break every single arrow. No one seems to be interested in or nearby to stop you. It is only the means that stop you. And you stand there arrowless.
So Fen's going to look down at however much he's got left in his bottle, and he is going to start weaving his way at this point back to the, he's probably got a sway in his walk at this point as he's walking back to the hotel. $14.
You're okay. You're shitty, but you're okay. You can find your way back to this inn.
It probably dragging his bow too. Just like, he looks a mess.
And are you going to just head up to your room once you arrive?
I'm gonna head up to Tordrick's room, and I'm gonna tuck whatever's left of that whiskey under his arm.
You're gonna tooth fairy it and just
Yeah.
I'm the whiskey tooth fairy, and you just casually put the whiskey under
And
his
Fen
pillow.
usually when he's meditating, taking his meditation, he usually, kneels very, very upright, straight back, but he's just laying against the wall now, like sitting on his ass, leaning against the wall, and probably gonna pass out as close as an elf gets to sleep.
Okay.
A rest.
And
And he
Nana,
might-
you go.
He's got
Mhm.
he's got some paper and an ink pen, so hopefully he can scribble in like decipherable words that he'll be able to read in the morning. Buy more arrows and just leave himself a note.
Okay. All right.
Dear
We'll get back to
sober
that.
Fen, drunk Fen broke your arrows. Get wrecked.
And you fall quickly into a meditative state. Nana, you go out, and there is a very thick-looking horse chilling in the stables.
What's the state of the stables? Were they damaged in the kaiju battle?
Nope, none of Alavi's property seemed to be in the way of any of it.
That is fortunate for our selfish reasons, if nothing else. Okay. Nana is going to make her way over to Thick Biscuit, and she'll go ahead and use her her speak with animals for the day. She'll come up to Thick Biscuit and offer him a nice apple. And
Okay. Yeah. And just eats this apple
hell yeah.
unfazed. You can go ahead and give me animal handling with advantage.
Ew. Alrighty.
Usually when you can talk to it, it helps. Unless you're Jenny, then it does not help.
Yeah. Jenny doesn't want to be helped.
No. No, she has no interest in being a different bird. She is content.
That makes sense. Animal handling with advantage 17.
You seem to be having an okay conversation with Thick Biscuit. There's
Yeah,
no
just-
discomfort from the animal.
Good. Just checking in with him, making sure that he's okay. See how he handled all the noise that was happening earlier in the day. Make sure that he's been fed well. And brush out his coat,
Yeah, I mean, he does comment that he's like, oh yeah, there was a lot of noise, but nothing else seemed to bother Thick Biscuit. They
That's
seem fine.
That's good.
But appreciate the brushing and the more food that they're like, I mean, I could eat more,
I could eat.
I'm just putting it out there. And at this point, it's pretty late in the evening.
Right.
There, no sun to speak of when you actually left the inn. There was the tavern. There was no light to speak of.
That makes sense. All right. Well, once she finally has Thick Biscuit well brushed out and she's concluded her conversation, she'll wish him a good night and give him a good scritch in between the eyes and make her way back to the room.
Okay. And you make your way back to the room. Everybody had their own individual rooms this go round. So technically there is like an empty room, but but we wouldn't know about it. Meanwhile, two siblings sit alone in a tavern. Is there anything you guys would like to do or talk about?
That was something. Ugh.
That was a lot of something, but we did it.
I don't know if I believe all of their stories. They seem that there's truth to them. I just don't know if it's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to tell strangers, everything. So I can't fault them for that.
Just, I don't know. Just it's weird. Opening up with a story about fighting and trying to kill a god seemed real out there. And, but
Yeah. So many questions.
I don't know, but I kind of want to see if I can see if Riven's okay. Like it seemed like that message was from her, but
Mm.
maybe we could go get her. You can get us rooms, and I'll get this pot filled. I'm gonna go up to the bar and see if they'll fill my tiny pot with water for me.
They squint and God, I'm feeling nice today, I guess. And he kind of like points to the door. I'm sure you could get some snow for a lot cheaper than I'm going to charge you to fill your glass.
Oh, that's fair. Thank you. She's gonna run outside and start shoveling snow into the pot.
Yeah. Held, you are charged like 2 copper for a room. It sucks. It's a shitty room. But you make your way. Both of you arrive in the room together. And what would you like to do now that you are in this place with like a shitty straw beds and what have you?
Like set the pot down, like the middle of the floor. I'm gonna try to use scrying to see if Riven's okay.
Could you tell us what it looks like when you do scry?
So once the snow has, melted, and now it's actually water because snow won't work. She is gonna pull out the letters that Riven's given us just as a little bit more of a focus, have them nearby since we don't have any pictures of her or anything. And just kind of touches a finger to the water and has it start to swirl. And she's focusing on Riven. And a light glow starts emanating from her hand where that is. And I need you to make a roll for me, I believe.
I believe because you have a possession.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier for me.
Yeah. It's a -4 to the roll.
Yeah.
Okay. You lean forward and look into the space, and there's a glow from it. Kel, you looking at it, you've never been able to see what she can. It's glowy water to you always and forever. As she's also like leant forward, there's like little drips coming from her hair as the ice in these places has started to melt as well, now being inside. -4. I don't know if they could possibly succeed. I don't think they can. They rolled incredibly well, but -4. 15, I don't think is going to cut it.
Does not.
Yeah, 19 on the dice does not cut it.
Yep. So I get 10 minutes of seeing/hearing around her specifically.
Okay. Yeah, it's sort of like kind of like you're a camera pointed at her. The rest of the world kind of fizzes out around it. And you take your time and you stare into this place. Kel, you do whatever you do during this time, just like
I'm gonna make myself comfy.
yeah, changing into your sleep clothes. Like, all right, I have 10 minutes
of watching me stare at water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bide my time.
You feel yourself move through space as if leaning forward, your consciousness leans forward and falls into the pot, just as water moves over you entirely, as if you are being pulled down a rapid, moving quickly through space. And it is cold outside, and you are outside. And you can see the glow of fire to your right, just out of the corner of your eye. And you can see a figure sitting on a, it looks like just a bundled up piece of fabric. Hood up and wrapped tightly around them, leaning forward and staring at the fire. You can see the shadows of other people. That's what you currently see, is just Riven sitting there, staring at the fire.
I don't hear anything.
So if you'd like to press your luck, I suppose, you can roll a perception check
Of
to
course.
see if you can pick up on anything else.
Love to.
Press it.
It's
14.
not terrible.
Not terrible, but you know, I have a +8, so
Yeah, that makes it a little
it's
sad.
pretty bad.
You're listening. It's the sound of the wind, the sound of a crackling fire, the sound of soft conversations. And you are not able to pick up on any of the conversations. They are just murmured and too far out of frame for you to like pick up on. You do hear the sounds of people walking. And it's not the sound of walking like, oh, I got places to be, you know, but it is the sound of somebody kind of leisurely walking. And then time passes and it gets softer and then it gets louder again. And you can pick up on that somebody is making rounds. So it seems she is at some sort of campsite. You can assume what kind of friends are there, but not who exactly.
But she's okay. That's all that
Currently
matters.
living.
She's alive. That was one of the concerns.
Yeah, I could see that being a concern. But you watch for a minute and it's just, I think you've gotten over a lot of the awkwardness of watching people do nothing for 10 minutes. As you just watch her kind of sit there. Like occasionally a hand like reaches up and like scratches her chin and then she waits. And it is, from that moment on, not much else to give you as you feel yourself fall backwards this time, back into the rapids as you are pulled back and out into your body.
I didn't learn much, but she's okay.
Huh. Well, that's good. That's
We're
very
at some kind of camp, but
makes sense.
yeah.
Was it? Well, I assume it's north. So
Yeah, I couldn't really tell where it was. Just, you know, outside, snow. That
Mm.
they definitely have people doing rounds wherever they're camping. So if we come across them,
good to know. Actually,
pay attention. Yeah, well, have to keep an eye out for them. Maybe tomorrow I can try and check in on her again when they're like in the daylight, when they're maybe not just sitting at camp.
Hey, well, at least we know she's okay. Well, not so helpful though.
No. Just kind of thinking, flashing back to earlier that evening when Roshan was talking to the woman at the information broker. This guy that we've never heard of, Egil. Just,
Questions.
Kelda, why this is so important. Getting this information out there. Who could this guy even be that there's not like even a little bit of information about him?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. Like they seemed very determined not to. Must be someone important, is all I can gather.
It's kind of I could try to see him, let's at least see who he is, since we know his name.
Do you think it would work?
It'll be hard since I haven't met him,
Well,
but
that hasn't stopped you before.
not wrong. Just gonna sit back down in front of it and try to find out if she can see this eagle person.
Curiosity killed the cat.
It will do nothing to me if I get it wrong. If it doesn't work, other than I can't do it again tonight.
That's okay.
And that's already the case. So she's gonna sit down and try to see this eagle person.
Okay.
It's real hard.
Yeah, you know of him secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a +5.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Wait, no, come back. No, come back. No, wait,
Uh-oh.
I don't think
Wow.
either option. Whether I roll a 9 or a 6, I do not believe I am going to beat your DC.
I don't think you beat 18, no.
No,
No.
no, I do not. Either way, I don't know which it was, but it does not matter. And you go back to leaning forward, and there's currently, like, over the first 10 minutes, like, there has been a puddle that formed on the ground from your hair just
It's
thawing.
thawing out. Not just the
Yeah.
hair, like the patches, just like everywhere.
Yeah,
Just a puddle.
now it's just like a damp sheen to your skin instead of just like these like frozen patches and spots. And you lean forward, and your hair actually like moves forward with you this time as you look into the pot. And you fall back into the space and are pulled once again through the rapids. This time, you go through the rapids a lot further. You feel yourself being pulled further away. And you appear in a room. It looks to be like nice wood on the walls, which you can compare because you were just in a room with very shitty wood on the walls. There is candlelight in this space, and there is a man currently pacing. Even though the space looks a bit warm, you can see the light from like a candle, a light from a hearth. They're wearing like a heavy turtleneck. Skin a tan color, but like a deep undertone of red. Hair also a deep red color, in locks and braids, pulled back in the center and tied back into like one sort of large ponytail. And on the sides of their head, you can see these kind of inset horns that kind of curve back and behind the ears. Kind of visually almost like more texture, almost like fossils set into the sides of his head. He's currently pacing, and each time he walks back and forth, you can see he's near a desk. And there are papers on that desk. And he walks away, and you can hear like, fuck. And like he'll stop and like, okay, easy does it. Easy fucking does it. And this person seems distressed as they walk back and forth.
Am I able to get anything from the papers when he's close to them?
I would love you to roll a perception check.
I hope it's better than the last one.
Ew.
That's much better than the last one.
Much better.
23.
Ooh. Dang.
You focus for a bit. There's like a moment he walks close and then stops right short of it, and you're like, "Ah, you son of a bitch." And there's moments where he walks a direction and his shadow blocks the desk, and you're like,
This
this
guy.
fucking guy.
It's like he knows I'm here.
It's like he fucking knows. And there is the occasional continuing pacing and then stopping, and it looks like he's thinking and then gets pissed about it. 1 second. There's a moment where he pauses and he takes a deep breath, and you watch him move forward, grab the desk, and fully flip it over. The desk skids across the floor.
Well,
He breathes heavy. Well, that only fucking hurts me. And he makes his way over to the desk, sets it up, and you watch as he picks up these papers. Your face is fully at this little pot now.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
It's just getting closer.
What does it say? You can see that there's a few different types of papers coming from different sources. You can see different handwritings. One thing you pick up on is a note, which looks like it had been unfolded, so you can see the creases on the edges of it. And it's just a short one that says, "Well, you know I'd be willing to meet you any day. Tell me when you're in town. I know you're close." And it's just signed with like this very intricate swirling design.
Oh, gosh.
And you are not able to pick up on anything more than that it is some sort of fancy swirl. You also see, it looks like another letter that has constantly been scratched out. Dear, scribbled out. To whom it concerned, no, it's a struggle to start something. And you see that eventually at a part it says, "To the happy married couple." The start of this letter before it is shuffled under different pieces. And there's a speed to this where you do not pick up on all of them. And they just kind of keep getting put down. And you see one that he stops and he lingers on it for a second. And it is a letter addressed to him. And you aren't able to pick up on a lot of it, but you see it is from the happy married couple. And you also see documents regarding the passing of tenets of laws, governmental paperwork. And you can see a signature at the bottom, the E, pretty visible, that he is signing these government-based paperworks. And you watch as he just sort of picks them up and throws them back onto the desk. I'm gonna have to ask Valrone to check on him. It's been 2 fucking days. And he kind of makes his way over, and you watch, he's continuing to just move about the room, and you watch as he goes to the window and checks it. He goes to the door and he checks it. And he like opens a closet and he checks it. You watch this man scout the room. And then you watch him go back to this nice bed in the center of the space. And he places a hand down on about a palm-sized stone on the nightstand. and there's a slight glow from it. And his gaze turns directly to you. I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but it's very nice to meet you. My name is Ego. I hope we can talk soon. I advise you leave. And like with a swift movement of the hand, your spell is dispelled. And as you are kind of forced back from the pot, you like your hands leave it and it kind of skids across the ground. That is where we are going to take our break. Thank you all for being here. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll get a snack, we'll get a drink, and we'll continue to swat at people we don't know, which is the best type. So we'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cold for episode 103 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. Some people got drunk, did some like sad boy, sad lady stuff, living the dream. And somebody decided to look around the world a bit to see what people were up to if they were alive, and why somebody is important enough to not give some intel on them to spread information about the guard, who is, for lack of a better word, a terrorist. So during this time, Nyx takes it upon herself to see who this gentleman could be, and gets a peek into a personal moment of emotion, where a desk is thrown. Some papers are spied upon. And at the very end, as it seems like something was activated, he saw you spying on him, introduced himself as Egil, and said he would love to meet you, and then dispelled the magic. As you are pulled away from this pot and the water spills across the floor, that's where we're going to pick back up.
What was that?
He's an interesting one. Huh.
Guess that checks out.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, he wasn't having a good time, that's for sure. Real mad about something.
Oh,
But he's involved in the government somehow. He had a bunch of papers on his desk that he threw. For what? I don't know. Would I recognize the name the Happy Married Couple? We aren't very involved in the crime world, but
So I'm actually going to let you, I would let you even look over your skills and tell me which one you would like to roll. And just tell me what you think you're picking. What are you leaning towards to see if you know them? My first thought would be history, would be my first go-to.
that's what I was leaning towards. She's so bad at it. But
The thing is, based on where you guys have gone,
yeah.
I'm going to give you both advantage if you are rolling to see who the happy married couple are.
sure. Let's see if we've heard of them.
I do not know who they are with a 9. Don't think so.
Got a 7 or a 7.
Oh,
We don't know
aw, buddies.
You don't know them.
Hmm.
them.
You know some people, but you don't know them.
No. Huh.
I don't know.
That's
It's
all right,
probably
well, got more
nowhere near
questions.
as much information as they could provide her, but maybe this would be enough for her to do something with information about the guard. It's not a lot, but
Again, she probably knows more than us, so maybe.
he doesn't know what I just saw on his desk. So
Okay, that's a good point.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, let's sleep on it.
Yeah. No, I'll go to my room and think about it.
I'm gonna think about it. Keld, you are left at the room where the water spilled on the floor.
I took my pot with me.
Putting down whatever extra blankets I have.
You're used to this. This
Yeah.
is normal.
I don't want to be
We have an
charged extra.
Water damage.
Um,
Well, I'll just go get a
You-
fucking mop.
all right. Is there anything either of you do on your own? Or is it time for bed?
I think
I'm
it's
going to bed.
time for bed.
Okay. The night passes. And you all wake up the next day having had a long rest.
Wow. That's nice.
That nice. I need a con save from people who think they drank a lot, which kind of sounds like the Team OG party.
Mhm.
I got a
Con
7.
save. Oof, buddy. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I also have a 7.
I knew it in my bones. I was like, no, it's
Yeah.
another 7. I
A lot
know.
of sevens
Yeah.
going around.
I was like, Kel's rolled 2
So
7s.
many.
It has
I-
been foretold.
It's a
It's a
7
6 on the
conspiracy.
dice.
Yeah, both of you are hungover. Both of you wake up feeling awful. But everybody can get up and reconvene as they see fit. Is there
I can still
anything
see
anybody
for
wanted to do
everyone.
early or what have you?
Do we have any way of contacting Norrell to see whether or not she's finished with her business, whatever the fuck?
I don't know. Roshan could probably contact her. Or we could just go for a walk. I think the fresh air might do us some good.
I don't
We'll
want to see
find
the
her.
sun right now.
Someone-
I don't want to see the sun. I don't.
Can you read this note? I think someone broke in last night and stole my arrows.
Let me see.
Nana, you
takes
look
a
at this
squint.
note. It says arrows. No.
Does it look anything resembling any handwriting I have seen?
You can roll intelligence.
I will attempt.
Arrows. No.
Oh, that's not the worst roll. Intelligence, that's a total of 15.
Hmm.
So it is written very hastily and scratchily, but it is written from as if somebody had like set it on their chest and wrote it,
What?
and then found it atop themselves, and you can kind of put it together.
Well, I do remember there was a point where you got a bottle of something from behind the bar and took your quiver and your bow and went out into the night. And then I didn't see you again until this morning. And this looks like it was written on someone's chest. Their own
Someone-
chest. Like this.
Someone wrote on my chest and stole my arrows.
No, Finn, I think you wrote on your chest and broke your own arrows.
I broke my arrows. Then where's the deer? If I shot my arrows, then there would be deer. At least a rabbit.
You didn't say where you were going before you left. So I don't know where your arrows are.
No one says where they're going when they leave. No, that's the problem.
Yes, I agree, that's a problem. Let's stop doing that. Also, I can only assume if, in fact, you went to find a deer, you did not find one because you've no blood on your person, and you do not stink
To be
of
clear,
deer
Fen.
musk.
To be clear, Fen has plenty of blood on his person. He just got his ass kicked literally the day before and has not bathed. So he may be
Oh,
wearing new
Jesus.
armor, but he's covered in blood.
But it's
Also-
like the old blood that was already
Yeah.
on him.
I know this blood. Also, just, to give you perspective, you're like dead center in a town.
Yeah,
No,
also
not
that.
prime deer hunting territory.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
You can only assume the man didn't go out to find deer.
As drunk as you were, and considering you took an entire bottle with you, I can't believe that you made it all the way outside of town, tried to shoot a deer, and I can only assume did not succeed because all those blood stains that are on you, you had on you yesterday before you left.
Well, either way, I'm going to need more arrows, and I would like to have my bird back.
That seems very understandable. We'll see what we can do about finding Norrell. Has Roshan gotten up? Is he with us?
Roshan is kind of like Schrodinger's character. He's there if you
Yeah.
want him, and he's not if you don't. So,
That's fair.
but as Roshan, I believe, joined your group,
Mhm.
my question actually sort of fell more to Nyx.
Hmm.
Is there anything anybody wanted to do early in the morning?
Mm.
Hmm.
And she's gonna go find this Brilla character as soon as she gets up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get up, clothes on, immediately you
Mhm.
make your way over to the tavern.
Mhm.
And she is present. She is currently speaking to an older man, a bit heavy set, long, dark, graying hair, cane in one hand. You can see tattoos on his fingers, cigar in the other hand as he sort of leans in and talks to her. And he like kind of like pats her shoulder. Helpful, thank you. And he begins to make his way towards that door you watched Roshan and Gorbjorn go through earlier in the night. And he like stops and looks back at you because you are the only other person in here. Welcome. Free drink. One free drink. And he makes his way, kind of limping to the door, where he just goes over and twists the doorknob. He does not knock. But a drink
Alright
is
then.
poured and set on the bar for you.
6 a.m.
She'll take it. She'll
Yeah,
grab it. It's free.
Free. It's free.
It doesn't
And-
count as morning drinking if it's free.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
pay for it.
Yeah, it's like a
Exactly.
mouthwash.
To be honest, I haven't paid for a single drink since I got in this town. So
Doing good.
It's kind of working. I haven't had one drink.
none of it counts.
Exactly.
But-
I don't make the rules.
Brilla does glance at you and then kind of go back to what she was doing. It's kind of like you, the bartender, and her. Like those are the three people present in this space.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to her right away with this drink. I heard you wanted information about Eagle to get this information about the guard out.
I did. Would you happen to have information? And you watch her flip to a blank page.
A bit.
I would love to hear it, and I will inform you of how much I can do with it in trade. But I'm sure something.
Now, do you need like what he looks like and all that, or do you already know that?
I am aware of what he looks like, unless he is wearing a
Fantastic.
disguise currently.
No,
A red,
I
red
don't think
tiefling.
yeah,
Okay.
real angry guy throws desks around.
And when did that occur?
Counts back the hours about, no, maybe 8 hours ago, 10, somewhere around there.
8 hours on the dot.
Yeah.
How interesting. It's not my place to ask exactly how you acquired said information, but he seems upset. How interesting. It makes sense considering his situation, but
Yeah, of course.
uh-huh.
Seems like he was having a really hard time last night.
I see. Did you notice anything else last night?
Few things. Let's see. He's been communicating with somebody called the Happy Married Couple. He's got a few letters back and forth between them.
That is understandable. Interesting, the continued back and forth, but good to know. Anything else? I'll inform you it's a bit weak at the moment. It's good to know that the man can struggle sometimes.
Let's see. weren't many names on the notes he was writing. There was somebody nearby where he is now that wanted him to come see them or him to go see them, something like that.
Was it signed?
I don't remember.
I'd love you to roll deception. Unless you're telling me.
No, I
Jillian.
actually don't remember
Okay.
if that one was signed.
You're just telling me. It was the one signed with like the big swirly thing.
Oh, yeah. Some really indecipherable giant scribbly swirl, kind of when somebody's writing really fancy for no reason. Looked like that.
I see. Would you be willing to attempt to draw it for me? Just an attempt for the shape?
Yeah.
Perfect.
course.
She pushes the book over to you.
Attempt to draw.
And you can do either
Mhm.
dexterity or intelligence.
Dexterity, of course. We're not smart.
My brain, she's small.
That puts me at 15.
Okay. Now you only got like a pretty quick glance of it, but you did get to see it. And you begin to sort of go through the motions of like, they did that thing where they just like swoop all the way the fuck around to make it a circle, like too much, calm down. And then the inside and the filigree you attempt at vaguely. And you draw, there was sort of like a central thing, and you aren't sure if it was a letter or a symbol or what have you, but I will now let you roll intelligence now that you have written it down on a piece of paper and can look at it, if you are able to kind of break apart your own drawing. It's kind of like when somebody tells you to draw a circle and some lines, it's like, oh, it's a stick figure, but until you get to see it.
Let's see. It's a 16. Pretty good for this poor child.
My brain, she's working. You
The visual
go
aid helped.
through. It's kind of like you almost like you grip the pencil like a child and are just like slowly shaky hand trying to draw this symbol. It's like I don't know where to begin as you start to get the basic shape and design down, and you begin looking at the center, and it kind of looks like a bug, like almost like a vague fly shape, like the head downwards and the wings tucked in. It's vaguely a bug shape, and she slides the book back over to her. That is very interesting. That's very helpful. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think that was most of it. He had a bunch of government papers that he was signing that were just everywhere. But
Well, he is a
other than
chief.
that would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would, which I'm sure you know, seeing as you are aware of his habits in the night. Perfect.
I definitely know now, at least.
Well, I'm glad someone is sensible and willing to speak of the chief of Olafsfeller for the good of the people. I think I could probably start something. Now, the thing is, the guard is very well liked and your claim is very bold, but I think I could at least try something.
Much appreciated.
As are you.
Thank you.
Is there anything you wanted to know?
Hmm.
And I really don't care about Eagle if that's the information you're offering. Seems like an okay guy.
Depends on your point of view, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you around when the guard came here? I'm assuming he had his tree was up, so he had to have been here.
I had somebody at the event
Hmm.
to inform me of what happened, where he did a demonstration showing that he could stop a corrupted being in
Mhm.
its tracks. My informant said that it looked like no magic was used. There was no movement of fingers or words murmured. There's nothing on his hand to depict an item of sorts, a rune, a symbol. It just stopped. And then he pulled the corruption from it and then put it in a container and then waxed poetic, I suppose, about how there is goodness, I suppose, in the earth. And then the tree did sprout forth. To which he disappeared behind it very, ta-da, magic show.
Yeah. Really not that impressive.
Mm.
Just going into a tree. Yeah.
It's just going into a tree.
Hmm.
Which, have you heard, is full of arrows.
I have not. Recently?
It wasn't early evening, and now it is today, so we assume it happened sometime in the night. Just full of arrows.
Yeah,
Someone's
that's-
upset, which, a lot of people died. Very sad. As you can see, we're busy.
Incredibly busy here. Yeah.
Oh, I meant in the fact that the people who would normally be lazing about here are out actually doing something for once.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't seem like much new information then about him, but good to know he's not really got any new tricks.
I think that's very good. For you, it sounds like. Well, if you have any easy questions, I'll keep the window open today.
Hmm. We'll see if my brother has anything he's interested in.
All right.
Yeah. But
Enjoy
it's
your
great
drinks.
talking.
It was very nice to talk with somebody who can think ahead.
If you can make sure, like, the first place I'm most concerned about is Jarlsbecker. Everywhere around here, not as important.
I see. Well, if you're speaking of Jarlsbecker and you are
Mhm.
speaking of the happy married couple,
Mhm.
those two are, depending on the point of view, one and the same. That is where they reside, and that is where they, I suppose, have their flag on the hill.
Well, if they could know not to be friends with him, greatly appreciated.
Understood. I'll see if we are interested in speaking to them. That can be testy sometimes,
Of course.
Of course. You have a good day. Okay. I couldn't tell if it was me.
Did she
or-
freeze?
She's
Oh no!
She's
he's
I'm
back.
still
Okay.
here.
Okay,
The
I was
voice is
just
still
like,
That's
working.
good. Oh, okay, good.
couldn't tell if I froze or not.
No, no, it's just me freezing like normal.
And
Mm.
where would you like to
She
go
do beat
next?
the
Would you like to go
freeze.
back upstairs or would you like to chill down here?
She wants to go find something to eat that's not from here.
Mm.
So you just make your way out onto
Yeah.
the street, begin your search. Um,
Gotta be a food cart somewhere.
easy
Yeah.
enough to find
Breakfast.
something. As Keld is like, well, I guess I'll figure myself out. And
I
Aw.
was going to
She's
say
she'll
I got
bring
a spread
enough
for
for
everyone.
yeah, Keld comes like you
Just me.
meet Keld as he is making his way back.
Oh, good.
With some it looked like he was grabbing some extra things.
I guess I don't need to go out then. Turn right back around.
You know I got this covered.
Didn't know if you were up.
While the other group is upstairs, Roshan will use a sending to speak to Norrell. He says that she is still very busy. It's only been less than 24 hours. But she can meet you at the square to return Jenny.
Okay. Well, there's that. And we can kind of on the down low let her know that her friend, for whom she was concerned, is alive.
All right, all of you convene downstairs where there is food to be had, as it's kind of been only like stale bread in this establishment, but there is something that's actually better to eat.
Oh my god!
Oh, gods, this is delightful.
Actual food. Oh gods, thank you. Keld, this is wonderful.
I had a feeling you guys would need something to eat in the morning.
He was so right. Oh gods, my head. Nana just has her face in the bowl. She's just eating like it is the last thing on the planet.
Keld will join you in that.
Fen is feeling a little queasy, so he's taking it easy, but he is enjoying it very much.
I'll take note of that.
Just eat like a normal person over here.
What?
I- I'm
Roshan
sure
will
y'all
also
can
eat
see.
like a normal person.
Yeah. Just kind of watch
Nana's
them.
looking rough. Real deep, like raccoon eyes going on here. Did not have a nice night, but that's okay.
So what would you guys like to do and or talk about at this time?
Huh.
Can we assume that Roshan's let us know about his sending
Yes.
with Norrell?
You
Okay,
can
cool,
assume
cool, cool.
that.
Awesome. Well,
Probably head that way.
we've definitely got the opportunity. We may as well stop by the square and catch back up with Norrell, let her know her friend's okay, and get Jenny back.
Yes, yeah. I need to buy more arrows too, since because of the dastardly act of theft that occurred last night.
I'm
Theft?
not convinced it was a theft.
robbed?
I'm very not convinced.
Someone took all of my arrows.
Are you sure you didn't put them in a tree in the
I
square?
didn't put them in a tree.
A what?
Somebody shot up the guard's tree last night.
Oh shit!
Fen!
It all hits you, just like, oh yeah.
All
It's all
right,
coming together.
new rule. If anyone leaves the party, we tell people where we're going, so at least we know what to expect if someone comes up to us and demands to know why something's broken.
Should we be writing these rules down?
Yeah. Are there
No,
a lot of
no.
party rules?
We haven't written down any. I don't think we've had any party rules. It's probably why things are the way they are. Honestly, maybe we need to start, but
Honestly, Keld, you'll get used to it. It's
I don't know about that, but we'll see. God's bless you. I wish you the best of luck. I haven't gotten used to this
Oh.
once, but that's all right.
Reassuring.
And you've been traveling how long?
4, 5, 6 months,
Hmm.
something in that ballpark.
away from home for most of that time. Yes, we stopped back, but yeah, it's been fairly steady on the road.
Yeah. Let's. All right. let's go and get to the square. Meet up with Norrell.
Mm.
We'll get you some more arrows because I would bet anything if you were venting Fen, those arrows are probably buried so deep in that goddamn tree that they will break before they let go. So,
I was wondering why they would take the mundane arrows and not any of the fancy corkscrew arrows or the fire arrows. Why they would steal them? It's starting to make sense.
If you use the fire one, the tree might be gone.
Oh, true.
I don't think that would have helped anything. I think
No.
that probably would have made the situation in the town worse. I know we're trying to leave, but let's at least not burn the town behind us as we go.
Yeah, but fuck that tree, though, right?
I do agree with you, but also let's just try not to make a scene, please.
No. Do I make scenes?
Yes.
Oh, I guess sometimes I do.
So you all begin to make your way to the square.
Yes.
Indeed.
To the square.
Begin making your way through town. The town, she be struggling. As you continue your way through, there's still the smell of pyre in the air, ever present. You get to the tree, and it currently has no arrows in it. But casually walking past it, it is not that hard to see that at one point there were definitely arrows in it. It seems somebody came by and dealt with it.
See, the grouping is too loose. It couldn't have been me, actually.
It spells out Fen.
How much did you drink, Fen?
I don't
Ed was
remember.
here.
You took a whole bottle out, so
And you did not come back with it.
I don't remember.
Go through that whole bottle.
All right. Anyhow, where did Roshan say Norrell would be?
Roshan say
Roshan's like, I said,
in the square.
Oh, I didn't know Roshan came with us.
100%. Yeah, no, he came with you. He doesn't know what you're doing after this.
Okay.
I wouldn't let y'all assholes just walk around without Roshan.
we leave him.
Sit down. Okay.
Roshan.
You snooze, you lose, buddy.
I don't think Roshan wants to chill at Olavi's place.
No,
my
I don't
humble
think
opinion.
he does. I don't blame
but
him.
he comes with you and he's
Valid.
like, she said she'd be in the square.
All right.
Well,
She
Look
said
at
she
that.
was still busy though, because
right.
she sort of motions around.
Mm.
Who are we looking for? What does she look like? I'm trying to look around for her.
Well, I don't know if she'd be in uniform or not, but we could give a basic description of like her face, how she usually wears her hair.
Pretty elven woman, strawberry blonde hair, bangs.
If she's helping
Good
out,
ones.
maybe we can just follow the chaos and see where she might be.
Unless she's coming from a different pocket of chaos and is headed over here. I'm loath to split the party over a small errand such as this, but I don't know. Can Nana try to scurry up, like, up to a rooftop that's kind of like off to one side of the square, and see if she can spot Norrell coming?
As you make your way over and basically like put hands on the wall, like Norrell turns the corner and almost bumps into you because
Oh!
you're just like pressed to this
Wow.
building.
Oh, sorry, Norrell. Was just going to see if I could see you coming, actually. Good to see you.
Yeah, I need to be quick. You
Of course.
She looks rough, covered in soot, and you can see that like in parts of the tips of her fingers look a bit raw, and you can see like the bags under her eyes, and just the mess of her hair. She has not slept yet.
Oof.
Is
And
there
she,
anything that we can get you for the road?
nope, I have to turn back around in a moment. Um, um, she kind of like looks down at herself, and she like reaches like into one of like the slits in the thigh and pulls out Jenny, who was like casually wrapped in a piece of fabric, to just
Aw.
carefully store her.
So
to
that
keep
she
the
wouldn't
bird.
flutter around and hurt herself.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
so
Thank you for looking after. I have to ask, do we know how many fell?
we don't have an exact number yet, and I'm sure we won't, because from what we heard from some witnesses, that if they fell beneath the monster, there was not much to speak of once it went past.
How many of the Jarlsmen are missing?
Enough. A lot of my people are not on shore at this time. And that's the only good in it, bad in it. I'm unsure. Many people fell. This thing went through homes. It did not casually walk the streets. It carved its own path and left nothing behind it, and many of the Jarlsmen who stood to fight it. There are groups that would have been taking care of an area, and those groups are no longer present.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know who's responsible for this, don't you?
I'm not a fool.
We...
If nothing else,
Go ahead, Nana.
we have a little good news for you. The friend for whom you were concerned before we left on our errand. We've learned that they're alive, or they were at the very least later than we last knew, and should still be okay so far as we're able to tell.
No, she's fine. I checked on her last night.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. She's still alive.
I think we leave
That's
it
good.
there and don't say too much.
Of course, of course.
She like glances at the fucking tree next to her.
How close are we to the tree?
You guys are pretty close. Like you could probably do like a couple cartwheels and be like, ta-da, you know.
All right.
Yeah, no sense in testing this thing as to whether or not it still has any of the properties it had when it
No.
was upright.
I mean, I could go try to talk to it right now.
Let's
Hey, what's up, my
not.
dude?
Let's
Screaming.
not.
Ah.
How are you doing?
This guy just showed up and started shooting me with arrows. He hit me when I was down. What the fuck? Leave there.
I'm already dying. Why did you do that?
Kicking a dead horse. It's not nice.
I realize that the comfort isn't large, but I hope it's something in the face of all this.
Every good thing is indeed a good thing, no matter the size or the timing.
We probably can't stay in town for very much longer, but is there anything that we could do to help lighten your load a little?
If you were going to do something, you'd be staying in town longer.
I understand.
But I'm not going to tell you to stay, so.
We'll see what needs doing, and if we find that there's business keeping us longer, then we'll let you know.
I would leave.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
All right. Well, if nothing else, we'll do what we can to be available to you, should you need to contact us.
I have to get back to work.
Of course. Stay safe.
She gives like a sort of a little like half bow.
Nana will return it.
And she starts walking. Turns the corner and is gone.
Well,
We can't let this happen again. Let's go get those arrows. Nana's in a sour mood.
As we pass the tree, Finn wants to take a couple hacks at it with his kukri.
Fun! Enough!
What? It's a tree.
It's enough, Fun!
Let's go get these arrows.
Some people do clock Fen doing this to the tree, as it is now daytime. But you go forward and just restock your arrows. It's not a lot of money. We'll talk about it later. It's easy peasy. Easy peasy kind of stuff.
I don't make a scene.
I realized it was a scene. It was a dead tree.
The scene. It's the middle of the day. It's the town square. We need to be smart.
It's firewood.
It's someone's important structure. And it's important to enough people in this town that we can't do things to it without consequence. Whether we think it's right or not.
Can we just find him and kill him already?
Easier said than done.
What happened in Hoigercliff, the 5, maybe more people he killed there, pale in comparison to this. This is made that look like a laughable accident. He can't do this somewhere else. And we can't continue pretending that it'll work itself out.
I was under no impression that it was going to. We're going to do something. We're going to figure it out. We're not going to figure it out in the middle of the day, in the middle of the town square. Let's go get your arrows and let's figure out what else we need before we leave.
All right.
I will just say, just because I heard it and I think it's hilarious. As you guys have your moment, Keld has slipped over to Nyx and said they argue like siblings. And has continued casually walking.
Probably just walking behind him, listening to this, going
Like, that sounds right. Okay. Once
Okay,
again,
so what she said
arrows,
does check out.
yeah, arrows, rations. We can talk money on that later. It is not a lot, but you are stocked in those departments if you wish to be. Is there anything you'd like to do before leaving town?
I'd probably see whether or not Alyona, I guess, needs anything of us before we depart. Sounds like she's going to be staying in town.
I think she's okay. She spoke to me before walking off. I think she's gonna do pretty okay here.
Yeah.
If anyone can handle themselves in this town or any other, it's going to be Alyona.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Well,
I
I need to
suppose
s-
let's gather our things back at the Laughing Ocean and
let's make
Yeah.
our plan.
yeah.
I need to go talk to the woman there again, really quick. Anyway,
Which
Which
one?
one?
question. The one that has the box in front of her. She actually never told me her name.
Belda? Is that right?
Brilla.
Brilla.
Yeah, that one.
Belda is actually a character though, but it's
Belda is a character.
Belda's a person, but
Okay.
Not that.
but this is Brilla. Uh,
Got it.
I just need to ask her something real quick.
Do you need company?
Yeah, you can come with.
Sure.
All right.
As you all make your way back, the rest of you go to gather your things. You see Gorbjorn currently has like Tordrecht like under an arm, and um,
Does he
Inks.
also have the mostly empty bottle of whiskey?
it's like tucked into like Tordrecht's shirt. That's Tordrecht's drink.
That's fair.
He has Tordrecht under his arm, and the cart, Ink's cart, is currently like pulled around the front. Ink at this juncture is currently presenting as a young woman, not wearing their uniform, as it were, but they're just wearing just kind of very simple clothing.
Simple traveling clothes kind of stuff.
Brown hair, irises of the eyes black. No change in color there. Just very definitely a middle of the road looking person. As they kind of go through and are like checking the cart, looks like making sure things are there. And Nyx
I'm
and
guessing we
Keld
can
kind of
tell that it's ink based on
the fact that
she's
they are
missing.
so casual around the cart, and Gorbjorn like walks near them and is fine.
Yeah, okay.
You can assume. But Keld and Nyx, you head inside. Brilla is where she was. You're welcome to approach her.
It's still pretty empty in here.
Yeah, there's like one guy, but he looks like he's like currently dropping something off at the other end of the bar. Like he's like put down like a little box and is like talking back and forth with the bartender.
Okay. But nobody I care about's in here. So that's all that matters.
I'm gonna say everybody else stayed outside, it seems, and I'm gonna say Roshan did too. So
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty much. I mean, it
I'm
was a matter
Roshan
of going
today.
into the inn, getting our stuff, coming back out, getting it on our
You guys have
cart.
things to do.
Yeah,
And they
you're
said
busy.
they're going to talk to him, so it's like, all right, that's none of our business, honestly.
I mean, it's like it didn't seem like she was opening the invitation to all of us.
No,
So.
No,
certainly not.
good assumption.
Yeah.
Much not.
So there you go. I'm not
So
going to
the two of
invite
you
ourselves.
approach. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna sit down forever. I have one more question. I don't know if you'd know it or if you might know somebody that would know something about this. Do you know anything, like anyone that would have info about living people being affected by corruption? Not like the guard and how he's able to control it, just people being physically affected.
Living people affected by corruption, not a common occurrence. I've heard of, I don't want to call them illnesses because it's more like something just latched on and it's kind of, it was its own entity, like a leech. That isn't exactly our area of expertise. If Lafayette hadn't left, I would have pointed you in his direction. He's into gross shit.
Yeah, he is.
But are you heading north?
Yes.
A bit east of Jarlsbecker, there is a library, the Kivik Library. It seems to have all the information one could need about everything in there.
Think they wanted to go there anyway. Yes, that's our next stop.
All signs point to the library.
All right.
Did you have anything you
Yep.
wanted to ask, Keld?
Not really. I think you covered it.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
where are you two from?
Them woods.
The woods.
Damn woods.
Mm-hmm.
To the northeast.
Yeah.
Points in a
Okay.
vague direction.
Somewhat
Well-
near the really big skull thing.
Oh, very far east.
Yeah.
Very far from home.
Yeah.
Traveling a lot.
Indeed. I think we have traded information for today, as it were, to the extent we are going to.
Mhm.
You have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you were ever interested in work, especially if you're the type to want to gather information, I could speak to my employer. It wouldn't be terrible to have someone on the road. Y'all aren't inside.
Well,
Looks out window.
Vibrating. Just glitches through the wall.
Fenn's ears are starting to burn a little bit. Like
Everyone's like,
terrible
why
is
are we
happening."
uncomfortable?
We warned you not to take any jobs.
I don't know if we have time for a job right now, honestly.
if there's information you're looking for and I come across it, we could send it your way, but I'm not going to be employed by anyone for it. I like to trade stuff. You know?
I understand. Based on conversations we've had, you and I, would that be something you would be willing to continue working on? And this would be, if this makes you feel better in any way, this would be work for me, independent of my employer. So a bit of a step away from, the big time. I could pay you up front. If you find any information, you could send it my way.
No need to pay up front. I just, if you have something you're looking for and I come across it, then sure.
Each thing you tell me or send me that I don't know already,
Mm.
I will double my efforts each time to send out whatever rumor you see fit to whomever you see fit.
That's about anything? Anyone?
Anything, anyone, but I need to know about a friend we spoke of. That is the info I care about and things adjacent.
I'll see what I can learn.
All right. You don't want anything up front?
No, hey, we're fine. We don't need anything.
Understood.
Do we need anything, Keld?
Mm,
No.
no.
We're okay.
Understood. People just started putting platinum in my thing recently, so I was like, I could throw that around, I suppose. But we'll trade
That's a
in
lot.
we'll trade in gossip, I suppose, instead. So if you want your friend the guard dealt with, I would love information on our mutual friend.
I think I can handle that.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your work. All
Get
right.
up and head out.
Following.
I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'll just
I'm
follow
missing
them.
something.
Kel's like, all right. Slowly like putting things together, like,
Hmm.
Hmm?
Puzzle piece. Puzzle piece.
I can hear the whole time. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Believe you.
Um, You all come outside. The team has regathered. Everything is in this place. Ink steps forward. I'm ready to go whenever. So whenever you all are ready. I think we can at least start in the same direction and see how things are going. I don't want to slow you down too much, but I'll see what I can do.
You're looking a good
We
deal better.
certainly want to. Yeah. It's definitely good to see you up and about. We certainly wouldn't want to put any undue strain on your poor oxen. Again.
I'm
But-
feeling fine, and the ox hasn't moved in days, so I think we'll both be okay.
I'm glad we'll be able to travel for a while together again.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's going to
yeah.
take a second to gather momentum with the inertia of this type of bitch. And just like climbs up into the driver's seat. And the slow crawl forward as it starts to move these two carts. And the rest of you get atop your cart and continue forward, behind, in front. Currently, you have to be behind because they went first, so it's
Yeah.
you're not getting ahead
Yeah.
yet.
We'll start off behind and we'll see how the road go. How did you two come into town? Did you walk or did you have horses, carts?
Walking.
Pretty sure. Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
walking.
Well, by all means, you're welcome on our cart if you like.
You guys have to walk, nerds.
We're
Okay.
used to it. We're fine.
You can't sit with us yet!
Oh no.
You're not wearing pink.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll walk.
On Woden's Day, we wear pink.
Mm.
Exactly.
Looking at my all green and black.
Yeah.
No.
Digs out a pink handkerchief.
I just want to fit in.
Fen would usually be walking like behind or in front, but he is absolutely riding in the cart today.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Nana's
room.
too hungover and too tired to walk, so she's definitely in the cart.
Fair.
Thick Biscuit pulls the cart forward, following behind Ink, and you all begin your trek, and you take your first steps northwards
Wow.
out of town, out of Noatin. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight, boys. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. We love getting to tell you guys a story, especially when they get so spicy. Katie, honestly, I don't do this a lot because I don't remember inspiration.
Yeah.
For starting drama,
Yeah.
the second episode you've ever existed in,
You're welcome. What
you
else
can
am I
have
here for?
inspiration. It's
Josh
yours.
is going to have some things to think about over the next week.
Hell yeah. I love it. Beautiful.
Punish
Dice
him.
Cult, we have a lot of stuff going on. On Tuesdays, we have Legends of Theia, Dungeons and Dragons 5e, run by Frank. Watch them beat up some monsters and chase some unicorns, the good stuff. And on Wednesdays, we have Cordially Invited over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Dice Cult, which is where you can also watch all of the past episodes of all of our shows. Cordially Invited is Dungeons and Dragons 5e, about planning a royal wedding. Things, hey, they've gone a bit off the rails.
We can
you know,
still
it's kind
save
of-
it though.
Yeah, Shakespeare plays are known for being, I believe, it's like a party,
Alternating
a funeral,
wedding,
and two
wedding,
weddings.
funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you got if you don't have two weddings, I guess we gotta hope for a second wedding in this bitch. But I believe that will be next week.
They're on
if you are-
hiatus.
is
Oh.
it started? Has the
Yes.
hiatus started?
The hiatus has
It's
begun. It's time to get caught back up on all the episodes you missed.
Good,
By which
that's
I mean
true.
all the episodes I missed.
Yeah. Same.
So this is your chance to catch up on this arc. And if you are so intrigued on catching up on things, currently Saturdays are still available if you want to head over to YouTube and watch our Vampire the Masquerade story, In the Last Remaining Light, which is a completed storyline. And by completed, I mean we got shit to do, beach. But the story in herself done. But boy, bitch, we got things to do,
There's
bitch.
so
Ain't
much
that
we
right?
have to do.
There
Katie,
hasn't
we
been
have-
enough arson since the
Oh,
game
Katie,
ended.
we have
need
so
more
much
arson.
to do.
We have plans, guys.
Oh, we have plans.
Oh boy.
Don't you forget about it.
Mm.
But maybe some new things are also in the works, along with some old things.
Hmm.
Ooh.
If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, I posted some lovely hero forges of our new friends, and I can only tell you that something a little more artistic is on the way compared to me just pushing buttons and being really excited about it. I do my best, but boy, oh boy, some people, they can draw stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. Thank you again for being here. Once again, we love telling you guys a story. We really appreciate it. And I'd love to see where this spicy little story goes.
What if we wanted shiny little click clacks like this? Where could we go?
Ooh.
Go to
Shiny
my
click-clacks
website.
like
Oh.
this.
Like that and that.
Oh.
I'm literally the only one that doesn't have my own dice by me right now. But
ABs.
if you
These are
wanted
some
to,
very gorgeous click-clacks, you guys.
you
You ought to get in
He's
on some of
talented.
these.
Well.
Katie, do good work.
Thank you. But you can go to my website, dragoninkdice.bigcartel.com.
Yes.
It's really long.
I mean, worth it for the dice in
Extremely.
Worth it.
They're so pretty. So pretty.
but thank you again. We appreciate it, and we will see you same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.
Thank you, everyone.